Yo, what is going on, everybody? Yes, the thumbnail wasn't a lie. I have an N-Scale Black Series, Star Wars Black Series, ATST to show you guys. That's what I have to show you guys today. Where to get one, how to get one, how much it costs, everything I'm going to go over in this video, how to get it printed for you, how much it's going to cost to get it printed for you, painted, unpainted, everything in this video. Now, I don't have this beautiful thing in hand yet, but eventually I will. What I have is more of a prototype version from a very close friend, and that's not what this is. This is Render Boy's final complete version. This thing is beautiful. I have a few Black Series figures, but I never thought it would be possible for us to get an in-scale Star Wars Black Series ATST, but I will have one eventually. But it is now available. You can get it yourself, and look at how beautiful this thing looks without Haslab charging us $1,300. Honestly, if this car is gonna be $400, imagine what Haslab would charge for an ATST with fully articulated legs and an actual cockpit where you can put a driver. Yeah, that car wasn't articulated. It just has opening doors and an opening trunk. That's it. This is a fully articulated in-scale ATST for the Star Wars Black Series line. Yo, no lie, I think this thing would cost, literally on Haslab, if they wanted to justify the price of a His Tank, that Ghost Rider car, if they wanted to say that was worth what it was, this ATST will literally cost $1,200 to $1,300 minimum. That's the minimum. I think it might even cost more than that, but I'm gonna say that's the minimum. And it's a similar size to Galactus. Yeah, that's the minimum. Honestly, with the way a lot of these fanboys are nowadays, it might even cost $1,500 to be honest. Render Boy does it again. I have like 3 videos at this point, or maybe even more, about Render Boy, his quality, and him creating these files for you guys to go get. And the beautiful thing about it is I get messages like, hey, I don't have a 3D printer, I don't have this, well, guess what? You don't need a 3D printer. What you need is the files. So in this video that's been playing in the background, you can go to Render Boy's YouTube to watch this video. But that's not Render Boy in the video. Now, this guy, this is Nathan. Now, I don't need you to think about hot dogs when you think about Nathan. No. What I need you to think when you think about Nathan is, oh shit, this guy's one of the best fucking 3D printers I've ever seen in my life. On his Instagram, he advertises that he's a photographer based out of Austin, Texas. BFA Photography, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Photography, which I'm sure he is a professional photographer, that's fine. But the main thing here is, when I'm looking at his Instagram, which you guys should go follow, is this guy is like a professional fucking 3D printer. The quality of his prints, it looks like props straight off of a set. Now, I spoke to Render Boy himself, and Render Boy also is an amazing 3D printer and a sculptor, 3D file sculptor, and that's how he creates these things, sculpting with 3D programs. But Render Boy vouched for Nathan and was talking about the quality and the durability of his prints. And just from looking at the photos, I've seen a lot of 3D printed stuff, I've held a lot of 3D printed stuff, and just looking at these photos, you can tell this thing is durable. So if you don't want to print it yourself, you can reach out to Nathan. You just have to show him proof that you got the files from Render Boy, and for a price, he will print it and assemble it and ship it to you. Now, how do you get the files? Of course, always, you get the files by pledging in his campaign. Come on, we've done this like 3 or 4 times already. First, we had the mech suits, then we had the Raptor vehicle, and now we got the ATST. So you just go, pledge to the campaign. You got 2 options. $50, you're printing one just for yourself, and for $100, you get the seller version, which just includes the consent to print and sell as many copies as you want, which is a crazy steal. Crazy steal. Render Boy is doing the community a service with this, to be honest. Go look up the prices of some 3D printed heads, some 3D printed accessories. It's ridiculous. Here you're getting an entire in-scale ATST over 26 inches tall. We're talking about comparable to the Sentinel and Galactus. You're getting the files to be able to print your own for $50 or $100 if you want to print and sell. That is ridiculous. Like, that is a steal. That's crazy. But this is just what Render Boy does. If you haven't checked his other campaigns that he's done, contact him, go check them out, because it's just as good. It's always something crazy with this guy, man. Like, he's definitely a professional at what he does, and you don't even need the newest 3D printer to be able to print this. For the people that are going to print it themselves, you don't need the newest 3D printer. Render Boy actually printed his on a printer that's, let's say, 3 to 5 years outdated. So if you have a newer 3D printer, of course, that's better, makes it easier, but you don't need one. That is just a testimony to how good he tries to make his files. If the 3D files were shitty, then obviously you would need a top-notch printer, but he tries to make the 3D files so good that it almost doesn't matter what you're printing them on or the year of the printer that you're printing them on. Doesn't matter whether your printer is shitty or new, it's still going to be good. Full video on Render Boy's YouTube page, go follow him there. I'm just showing quick clips, but let's look at the articulation that Nathan breaks down on a print that he did.
This is a drafting roller, so this is 2 feet. So when we stand it to the side, you know, you're looking at over 2 feet. Now, articulation is going to come down to a few things. How are you posing it? So we can take this, and basically what I do is I just kind of grab it from underneath, and then I can start manipulating legs and joints. So one thing, these joints are going to move however well you have them secured. If they're on the looser end, it will articulate that much easier. That being said, with this build, you really don't want it to be like an easy articulation. If it is, then it's liable that it's going to start collapsing on itself, and then it's going to fall. How wide is it? Well, it's as wide as you put the legs. All these points has been stressed for making sure that you get this thing into some dynamic poses.
You guys get it, and right here he breaks it down to show how small you can actually get the ATST. If you want it on a shelf, or you know, you're worried about space, you can get this thing pretty tiny. He picks up a Black Series figure, shows the scale of the Black Series figure inside of the hatch, but that whole top lid canopy piece opens, as you guys seen in other parts of the video. All in all, I just think this thing is great for what it is. I think it's great for the size, the scale, the articulation. And if you go over to Nathan's Instagram and you click his website, and on his website he breaks down the deals and the different type of packages, and at first glance it's like, oh my god, $450 all the way up to $800. So $450 to $500 for him to print the pieces for you and send them to you unpainted and unassembled. Also, there is a walkthrough video where he puts it together piece by piece. So if you do go with that option, or if you print them yourself, you can still watch this walkthrough video where he literally puts it together piece by piece. Sure, the video is an hour and 20 minutes. It's a lengthy video, but literally he's walking you through how to put it together yourself. Whether you paid him to print the parts for you or you printed the parts yourself, I still think the video is helpful. And you can find that video on Render Boy's YouTube. Now, the other option, if you don't want to paint it yourself and you want it painted and sent to you assembled, the options range from $700 to $800, which honestly, you know, I guess somebody make a big deal about $700 to $800, but they tried to sell us a car for $400 nowadays, and $500 if you wasn't even in the States, $500 plus. So I really don't think $700 to $800 to get this thing fully painted and assembled and sent to your front doorstep. I don't think that that's a bad deal, considering this thing is over 26 inches tall or whatever it is. That's crazy. Because do you actually believe this thing that is bigger than Galactus would be on Haslab for $700 or $800? No, I think it's going to be way more than that on Haslab if they tried to sell us a car for $400. Plus, not to mention, you look at Nathan's paintwork and these literally look like movie props. The exterior of this thing, you look at it from a distance, or if I just seen pictures of this, I would think this was props off of some set. The paint job is really good here. The only thing is missing is lights, and you can do that yourself if you really want to. But this, I just feel like for that price, it's definitely worth it, considering how massive this thing actually is and the time that it takes to print out all the parts, to put it all together, and then also to paint it and send it to you. I think it's worth it, but I might be crazy, but I can't be that crazy because, guys, the goal was 3K, and as of recording this video, within the first 72 hours, Render Boy hit the goal of 3K, and now they are at $4,850, which is wild. So I can't be that crazy, because even if people are not going to Nathan to print them and they just want it for the files, over 70 people have seen the value in having these files. So it's over 4,000. He's made over $4,000 already, just because people realize how valuable these files are for an in-scale ATST. Even if you're not printing it yourself, there's still so much value in having Nathan do it for the low end of 500 all the way up to the high end of 800. It doesn't make a difference because of the quality that you're getting when he prints it for you. So I can't be that crazy. Like I said, there's definitely value here. You ain't gotta wait the 54 days though. Now that it pledged, if you back it now, you get the file sent to you automatically. If you do see the value here and you do want the files for yourself, to print them yourself or get them printed somewhere else, as soon as you pledge, the files will be sent to the email address on your PayPal account. If you want to receive the files on another email, please hit up Render Boy and let him know. He'll send them to the other email. But you know, don't pledge and then say, oh, I didn't get the files. You did. They just went to that email account on the PayPal account that you use to pay with. So if you want it on another email, hit him up. Render Boy answers everything. So write in the comments, message him, Instagram, Discord, message on a campaign wall after you pledge. It doesn't matter. Anytime I've messaged this guy, he's gotten back to me super fast, super helpful, super convenient and nice. So shout out to Render Boy, man, because what you're doing is pretty amazing. He's just dropping them every few months. There's another big, huge project that's just helping the community out, whether you print or not. Just to have these files are so worth it, because almost everyone I know either has a 3D printer or they plan to get one in the future. So to have these files sitting there for these really cheap pledge prices is so worth it. So if you want to stay up to date with what Render Boy is doing, follow him on Instagram. Also, I'll have the link to the campaign in the description below. Shout out to Render Boy and shout out to Nathan for doing some amazing print work and doing some amazing videos, man. Like the walkthrough video, what I seen was really good. Him showing off what it can do is really good. Overall, you could tell that guy just screams quality. Like, I know he doesn't have professional 3D printer in his description on his Instagram, but he definitely should. So shout out to Nathan. I hope everybody's having a good day. I hope somebody found this helpful in some way, shape, or form, or interesting. So let me know in the comments below, guys. Am I the only one that sees 3D printing permanently replacing Haslab and these crowdfunding vehicles and stuff like that within the next 2 to 3 years minimum? I think, you know, these big companies are going to have a huge problem with the stuff that people are doing now on their own at home. So do you guys see 3D printing really taking over the vehicle market or the smaller accessory market? I already see it happen in a lot of ways, but stuff like this just really makes it show how fast it's actually happening. But the links will be in the description below for everything that you need for this video and to get your own ATST. Peace out, guys. Stay safe. G.I. Joe, classified, Marvel Legends on my mind, Valorverse and NECA time, Mythic Legions I must find, SH Figure Arts I can't lie, Rebel Tech got my pockets dry, Set Action Figures for life, Articulated Ninja is nice, yeah, you might wanna subscribe, Action